This is the Scoreboard Show.
Coverage of all corners and classes of Colorado with game results and live interviews.
And now your host, Kevin Schaefer.
And good Saturday afternoon. Late November, high school playoffs finally here. State quarterfinals, just 8 teams in each of the 7 brackets across the state. But we have made it to the playoffs, and we've gotten almost the entire first round completed as we wrap up a very exciting weekend of football that got started on Thursday night. And a couple of games still in progress as we speak. We'll update through the next 90 minutes. Obviously, several finals to get to. And we're at the stage of the season where you have to win to move on. And the winners today and yesterday and the one game from Thursday, they advance to the state semifinals next week. And those winners then converge on Pueblo the following Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, where we will crown 7 state champions over a great 3-day celebration to finish up what has been a trying but also a fun 2020 football campaign. Again, state quarterfinals in each of the 7 classifications. We'll get through the scores today, and over the next 90 minutes, we'll set the scene with all the results and look ahead to the matchups. And obviously, we'll talk to as many coaches as possible as we talk football here on this Saturday, November 21st in 2020. Again, if we get through a section, I should say, of scores, and we don't have an update, let us know. Send us an email, Kevin@coloradopreps.com. That's Kevin@coloradopreps.com, or you can send us a Twitter note as well. We invite you to join us here on the radio network, also on Facebook and our YouTube channel. So again, several ways to catch our Scoreboard show as we talk high school football, the only statewide football network in Colorado. Let's get to the scoreboard. We're going to change things up this week and start with the 6-man ranks and move our way up to Class 5A. 3 quarterfinal games today in 6-man. Fleming is the number 1 seed, the defending state champs. No trouble with Kit Carson. 58-14 is the final there. Wildcats improved to 6-0. And they will take on Grenada in a rematch of a great game just a couple of weeks ago. Grenada gets a nice win over Eads in the southeast part of the state. 44-35 was that final. Bobcats into the state quarterfinals with a record of 6-1. They're only lost by 5 points at Fleming, again, just last week. Stratton Liberty didn't have any rust today. They had only played on the field 3 times, 3 victories and a forfeit to get into the bracket. They rolled Briggsdale 58-39. That score not as close as it indicates, as Stratton Liberty took complete control of this game very early on. They win it at 58-39, so they go in at 3-0, and Stratton Liberty will take on Cheyenne Wells in the semifinals. Tigers beat Prairie last night. Yesterday afternoon. 43-22 was that final. Everything in 8-man being played this afternoon. Let's start with the 5-time defending state champs, Sedgwick County. They're also the top seed, obviously, in this bracket. How about 21 consecutive wins now in the postseason as they blitz Crowley County? 45-12 is that final. Cougars are 7-0. And again, it's going to take a monumental effort to knock them off that 5-time perch as they go into the state semifinals next week. They're going to take on Dove Creek. Good win for the Bulldogs today as they downed Rangeley 30-12 was that final. Dove Creek at 5-1 with today's win. Their only losses to Sanford from a couple of weeks ago, but they will take on Sedgwick County next week in one state semifinal. Bottom side of the bracket, Marino. Mild upset here. Both these teams, great tradition, but they win at Fowler. That's number 6 beating number 3 on the road, 22-6. Fowler, though, was the defending state runners-up. They were undefeated coming in. Marino with just the one loss to Sedgwick County, but they advance to the Final Four as they knock out Fowler today, 22-6. We hope to hook up with their head coach, Nathan Schmidt, a little bit later on. Sanford trying to finish off Mancos today. This has been a good matchup. They're playing in the fourth quarter. Sanford leads at 36-22. Indians are 5-0. Mancos at 3-1 with a lone loss to Dove Creek. Ironically, these two teams were supposed to play last week, but it was canceled because of quarantine issues in Sanford. Sanford back on the field today and leading 36-22. That game about midway through the fourth quarter. Let's go to Class 1A. Lyman is the 2-time defending state champs here. The Badgers move on to defeat Holyoke 41-15, spread it out in the fourth quarter. This was an 11-point game going into the final 12 minutes. Badgers tack on 2 fourth quarter scores. They stay unbeaten at 5-0 with their 9th consecutive playoff win. They down Holyoke today 41-35. That's another game lost in the regular season. Dragons and Badgers supposed to play last Friday, did not because of COVID issues in Lyman. And again, the Badgers also back on the field. They return in good shape 41-15. Lyman will take on Ray. The Eagles pound Hotchkiss today 38-13. Hotchkiss took an early 7-0 lead. Then Ray put up 38 unanswered points to get the win. They advanced to 6-1, and they will take on Lyman coming up in one semifinal. This is another game we expected to see in the regular season that was not played. It was supposed to take place 2 weeks ago, but again, Lyman was on the first half of their 2-week quarantine. Centauri with a gutsy win at Florence today, 20-17 is that final. I think these teams traded scores throughout the entire game. Centauri got the the go-ahead touchdown, I should say, with about 9 minutes to go, and their defense held the rest of the way. Again, they win it 20-17. That was a battle of unbeatens, and Centauri gets it done. They advance at 7-0. Florence finishes their year at 5-1. Centauri will take on Strasburg. The Indians have been to the finals 4 straight years with 2 championships. Strasburg, in a great win last night, beat Meeker 38-36. If time permits, we'll have some comments from their head coach, Brian Brown, about the win last night. Let's go to Class 2A. A series of upsets here, but I'm going to use that term upsets very loosely this year in all classifications because with only a 4 or 5 or 6 week regular season, it's really hard to get a good look on who the best teams are. And again, seeding was tough this year. And so you really don't see what we would call upsets here in the playoffs. And you're not sure which teams will have their full rosters when they line up on any given weekend here in the playoffs. But in Class 2A, Resurrection Christian is the number 1 seed. They're unbeaten at 5-0, about to finish off Moffat County over in Loveland. 38-14 is that final, 5 1/4 to go in the fourth quarter of that game. Again, Res on top, 38-14. Eaton simply pounded Pagosa Springs today. 41-7 was your final. It was 35-zip at halftime for the Reds. Their only losses are to Sterling and Platte Valley, so they fell to the 5th seed and had to play on the road this weekend. No trouble whatsoever as they beat Pagosa Springs and had the Pirates their only loss of the season. They close it out at 5-1, so Eaton likely against Res Christian coming up next week. Bottom side of the bracket, the lower seeds get road victories. Delta wins at Platte Valley big, 38-16. Delta advances with a record of 5-1. Platte Valley, we understand, though, playing without 16 players today because of COVID. Let's not take away the victory from Delta. They're playing with a backup quarterback. They put up 38 tonight to defeat Platte Valley 38-6. And Lamar lost to Sterling in this round a year ago, 40-0. They turn it around today, 14-6 winners at Sterling. So the Savages advance with a record of 6-1, and they will take on Delta. That's a long road trip for Lamar, but that's the state semifinal coming up next week in Class 2A. We will take a timeout. 3A, 4A, and 5A. Couple of games still ongoing, but we'll get you caught up on that scoreboard next here on the Scoreboard Show on the Colorado Preps Radio Network.
We're here for the ones on the ranch with a bale of hay. The ones behind the counter brewing our morning cup of joe. The ones fixing up our mountain bikes. The ones with a small business and a big dream. And the ones running the cafe, where there's no such thing as a tiny serving. Here's to the businesses that help us live our best Colorado life. We're proud to be the community bank that's here to support them. Because we're not just a bank in Colorado, we're Bank of Colorado. There's only one. Member FDIC.
Just how sweet are the guys at Buildings by Design? They are one of Chief Building's top dealers. Now, some of you might ask, what exactly does that mean? Well, Chief is in the top 3 in metal building manufacturers in the United States, and with the stamp of approval from Buildings by Design, they are the highest quality. Buildings by Design is the largest northeastern Colorado and northern Colorado general contractor, but they still offer that same local customer service approach that helped get them where they are. Quality, integrity, and trust. It's Buildings by Design.
Today we decided to walk to school. At the corner, we waited to cross the street. The stoplight counted down. 15, 14, 31, 13. We took a left on Carroll Garden Street.
Garden Street?
Loud music was coming from a car. Danny's a smart kid, but he gets so distracted.
There were so many other sounds, I didn't know what to focus on.
Danny, Earth to Danny. Suddenly, he realized he forgot his homework again.
I left my homework on the table.
At the school steps, we hugged goodbye. I really hope he doesn't have another bad day at school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free online resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Get personalized recommendations, practical tips, daily access to experts, and more. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I feel like if I didn't have anyone to push me, I wouldn't give a bother to do it. I got one milestone down the drain, and now I got to work on the next. I see the future is really bright for me. I feel like it doesn't matter the age, as long as you go back and get it done. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
No one gets a diploma alone. You have more support than you realize. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back here on the Scoreboard show on the Colorado Preps Radio Network, special playoff edition for this Saturday. Let's get you an update on a game still in progress in 8-man. Mancos has again continued to stay in this game at Sanford. Now 36-28, Sanford with the lead on the Blue Jays. 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter there. No change. Check that. There is a change. Resurrection Christian has started to pull away from Moffat County. Now 40-14, 2.5 to play in that Class 2A state quarterfinal. Best finish of the day over in Johnstown. Roosevelt gets about a 25-yard field goal with 2 seconds left to upset Fort Morgan 17-16. That's a 1 beating an 8. But again, we're not taking anything for granted in the playoffs this year. You just want to win in advance. And Roosevelt gets it done 17-16 as they advance on a late field goal. They're 6-0. Mustangs close their year at 4-2. Roosevelt will take on Pueblo South next week. South, as you know, earned the forfeit win earlier this week over Meade when the Mavericks could not play because of quarantine. Durango all over Lutheran this afternoon. 47-6 was that final. Demons get their first quarterfinal win, I believe, since 1997, and they smack Lutheran 47-6. Demons are 6-0. They will take on Holy Family. Tigers were winners last night. Equally impressive as they downed Evergreen 41-6. So the top 4 seeds in Class 3A move on. In Class 4A, a lot of folks ask me, is Dakota Ridge worthy of the number 1 overall seed because of their schedule? I told them yes. They're proving me right. 21-0. They lead Montrose after just 1 quarter. That game kicked off at 3 o'clock, so we'll get you updates throughout our program today. But all Eagles right now, they're leading Montrose 21-0. Palmer Ridge and Pine Creek, a battle of defending state champs. Palmer Ridge has won the last 3 in 3A, up to 4A this year. Pine Creek is a defending champ in this division and 4 titles in 4A since 2011. All Palmer Ridge today, 32-7. The Bears roll. They're 5-0. Pine Creek finishes their year at 2-3. Fountain Ford Carson, a great win earlier today, a 10:30 kickoff. These two teams didn't have any trouble waking up. 31-21 at half. Fountain Ford Carson was behind. They win at 41-38 as the Trojans advance into the quarterfinals with a record of 6-1. Ponderosa with their first loss, and it'll be Palmer Ridge at Fountain Ford Carson next week. The other side, we saw Loveland beat Broomfield last night 28-7. That game, that score, not indicative of how tight that was. He was 14-7 midway through the fourth quarter. Broomfield lost their quarterback to injuries. A couple of late turnovers made it 28-7, but Loveland gets the win to move to 7-0, and they await the winner between Dakota Ridge and Montrose. And again, Dakota Ridge with the early 21-zip lead on the Indians. Legend and Fairview. Legend, 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. They're doubling up Fairview 28-14. Titans are 6-0 and trying to become the 4th team into the Final Four in 5A. 3 other games already played. Cherry Creek beat Regis 29-6. Pomona knocked out Eagle Crest 49-19. both those games last night. Valor Christian a win on Thursday over Cherokee Trail 49-14. So Valor Christian will be home regardless and will take on the winner between Legend and Fairview. Cherry Creek will host Pomona in the second semifinal. So that gets you caught up on our scoreboard as we see it here early on. We'll take another timeout. Coaches' interviews on deck. This is the Scoreboard Show on the Colorado Preps Radio Network.
Never before have either of them felt this sort of pressure, this level of the unknown. I'm Glenn Davis, and I'm part of the Alpine Bank family, member FDIC. I'm speaking of our school children and the teachers who guide them. For our young people, this school year is completely different. COVID has changed everything, from where they learn to how. But thanks to our devoted and tireless teachers, our kids are in the best of hands. Teachers care about their happiness, their enthusiasm, and their love for life, be it from the front of a classroom or looking out from the screen of a computer. Yes, we're all in the midst of a new world. But Alpine Bank knows one thing remains constant. We are blessed to have teachers. They care, and that will get us through.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese.
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Back here on the Scoreboard Show on the Colorado Preps Radio Network, let's update you on another final score from Class 2A. Just did wrap up. Resurrection Christian finished off Moffett County. That's a quarterfinal game. Obviously, number 1 seed is Res. They defeated the 8th-seeded Bulldogs from the Craig area. 40-14 was that final. So Res Christian advances into the 2A state semifinals, and they will be on the road. It'll be a short drive. They'll go over to Eaton as Eaton picked up a win at Pagosa Springs today. 41-7 was that final. Delta also upset Platte Valley on the road tonight in Kersey, 38-6, and Lamar also a road winner, 14-6 over Sterling. So 3 lower seeds in Class 2A pick up road wins today in the state quarterfinals. So again, kind of a wild ride in that division, and we're going to see that quite a bit. Again, kind of our motto for the playoffs here in 2020 is no upsets, because the seeds hard to determine this year with only a regular season where teams played anywhere between 4 and 6 regular season games. 5A contest still ongoing. Legends still with a 28-14 lead on Fairview. That game is just about gone to the halftime. And again, Legend on top. That's a battle of unbeatens, one of just 3 such matchups across the entire playoff bracket this year. Class 4A is where we find our other game tonight, and Dakota Ridge is leading Montrose 21-0 as they turn the corner into the second quarter there. Again, that was just a 3 o'clock kickoff tonight. So again, it's a late start, and Dakota Ridge is off to a great start as they lead at 21-0 through the first 12 minutes. Let's go ahead and want to visit with some coaches from earlier today. We had a chance to talk with Jake Novotny. He's the head coach of Fountain Fort Carson. His team got a victory, as we said, over Ponderosa tonight, 41-38 in a wild one, and it was an excellent win for the Trojans.
Yeah, we were down 10 at halftime. We had a couple turnovers early in the game that put us behind the sticks, behind the points, and yep, down at halftime.
So what changed for you there in the second half to allow you to get that victory?
Well, I'll tell you, so Ponderosa's quarterback is a tremendous player and probably one of the best offensive players we've played all year. Certainly one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback we've seen to this point. And he can do it both on the ground and through the air. And, quite honestly, we were playing some zone coverage early in the first half, and he was just picking us apart. And we made an adjustment at halftime from a defensive perspective to play a little bit more man-to-man and have him throw some tighter windows, and our guys were able to do that. And, offensively, I think for the most part, we stuck with our game plan, and did a great job running the ball with Q Jones and our offensive line and kind of kept that going. But we really needed to find a way to make a stop or two to get ourselves back in the game. And just that little adjustment helped us kind of get back in it and made some indecision on his part. But I'll tell you what, man, that's one of the best players we've played all year. My hat's off to him. Yeah, you said you stayed with your offensive strategy. It sounded like, again, that was to give the ball to Q Jones, a remarkable game for your running back. Yeah, he is a special player, man. And, from a personal standpoint, all the adversity that young man has faced in the last, 2.5 years. People forget as a sophomore, he was, top 5 in 5A for rushing until he had a season-ending tibia-fibia break and had some complications last year as a junior that sidelined him again. And just to have him battle back and have the resiliency and the adversity he's fought through, it's special to watch him play. And I'm glad we get at least a little bit of time to experience that here in Fountain. Exactly. I'm not surprised by your playoff run. I thought you were a playoff team coming down from 5A into 4A right away. But do you think, looking back, that loss to Rampart was good for you long-term in this season? I think any experience is that you have in the season is good for you. I think it humbled us and refocused us. I was at CSU Pueblo as an assistant coach through the national championship years. And I'll never forget that one of the most motivating factors for us in 2014 is when we lost to Fort Lewis. And it refocused our guys and humbled them and caused us to work harder at our mission and goal. And I think just like that did that for us. But I'll also tell you this, and I've said this for the last 2 weeks, Rampart is a well-coached team, and they brought it. And they deserve all the credit for that victory that they had 2 weeks ago. But for us personally, I think that gave us kind of a wake-up call to refocus on some things and be more process-oriented instead of outcome-oriented. That's Jake Novotny, the head coach of Fountain Fort Carson, again with a crazy win over Ponderosa today in 4A, 41-38. On the phone with us now, Jason Tice of the Lamar Savages. Road winner today as they knock out number 2 Sterling in 2A, 14-6. Coach, excellent victory on the road against a good team today.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. I think, hearing Coach Jake talking before you, those are wise words, becoming process-oriented, not outcome-oriented. After our loss to Pagosa, I really felt like our kids, kind of bought into that as well. So, it was a nice win. Our defense stood tall, and Sterling's a heck of a team, and fortunate to come out the victory. Your defense made some major plays, especially in that first half, because you had your backs against your goal line and got away without giving up any points in that first half. Yeah, it's a testament to our kids. They didn't break. They didn't get down on each other. They played hard, and they made plays at the goal line. I think it was Blake Buxton that caused the fumble there near the goal line on the run play, and then Damian Ramos stood tall and picked him off in the end zone on the little fade stop route. So, really pleased with our kids' effort, and they were really focused this week in practice, and were able to make them drive the field and try to earn everything they got.
And you guys got just enough out of your offense to get the job done today.
Yeah, really pleased with our offensive line. I felt like we controlled the line of scrimmage relatively well. Sterling's got some big kids and some nice looking athletes, but we were effective in the run game. Chewy Reyes did a nice job inside. In the front side was plugged up. He'd bend it back to the backside and find a little crease and get 4, 5, 6 yards. And then the second half, we're able to use that distraction and pull the guard around and get Zane going on the off tackle power, quarterback power. So, it's just one of those things where we're able to wear them down a little bit and have some success during that fourth quarter.
All right. You had lost to these guys pretty soundly last year in the semifinals. Was that a factor at all today?
I think, these kids, saw beyond that. We had bigger fish to fry today, Kevin, to be honest with you. One of our guys battling an illness up in Denver Children's Hospital, and that was our focus today. Our focus was playing for Zeus today, and 26 got the game ball, even though he wasn't with us here in person. He was with us in our hearts.
Can anything else go wrong in 2020, Coach?
Hey, you know what? These kids are resilient. They just want to go out and play. They enjoy being around each other. They've worked really hard for about 10, 11 years now with this group of kids, and we want to keep them together and keep playing as long as we can. It's just a joy. It's a pleasure to get to work with them. Really, really proud of our kids today. On both sides of the ball.
All right. Google Maps to Delta next week, huh?
Hey, the Highway 50 rivalry, huh? I mean, east side of Highway 50, west side of Highway 50.
Yeah.
Been to Delta a few times. My daughter swims for Western Colorado University over there, so we go through Delta quite a bit, heading over to that CMU invite that they have here in November. But we'll be going back in November, just not for swimming, but we'll be going back for football. So Delta, I've seen them on film against Bayfield. Even without the Bynum kid, they're big, they're physical, they're going to run the football effectively, and they're tough on defense, real aggressive. It's going to be a tough matchup again.
All right, Coach, I know you've been in the playoffs many years. You guys won a game last year and got to the round of 8, and back there this year. Is prep for the playoffs this year any different because of all the things we're dealing with compared to those previous visits?
Boy, that's a great question, Kevin. I think when it comes down to these kids, I don't think so. I mean, the school stuff and things like that, we've had to really work on, academics and, these kids at home, studying from home and working from home. They've really had to exercise a lot of self-discipline. But once we get to the football field, it's pretty normal. The kids getting to their rhythm. They were hyper-focused this week, and, they knew the task they had ahead of them was pretty large, and it was going to take extraordinary effort, and really felt like we came through.
All right, Coach, a heck of a win. First semifinal since 1995. Good luck next week.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
All right, Jason Tice, head coach of the Lamar Savages. Again, they hadn't won a playoff game since 1995 until last year. They beat Eaton 21-7, so they win today at Sterling 14-6, and they get into the Final Four since the first time since 1995. They're seeking their first state title since 1961. 2 more wins would give them their 3rd championship in school history. So again, in 2A, you have on the bottom side of the bracket, if you will, Lamar will go to Delta. Delta beat Platte Valley 38-6 today. Topside, Res Christian will be on the road to Eaton next week. Res defeated Moffett County 40-14. Eaton pounded Pagosa 41-7. Check in on a couple of games still ongoing. No update between Dakota Ridge and Montrose. Still 21-0 as they go into the second quarter. And in Class 5A, Legend and Fairview now at half, 28-21. Legend on top. We'll update those games, talk to several more coaches, and run through the scores several times. That's coming up in our next hour on our Scoreboard show. This is the Colorado Preps Radio Network.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi. I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
Well, before I left my campsite, I was putting out my fire, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear showed up and hugged me?
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. He likes it when people correctly put out their campfires. He's pretty big on wildfire prevention. He's just letting you know you did good with a hug. He's a hugger.
I just got a bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update!
All right, I'm going to let you go now. I've got a lot of ranger stuff to do. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
This is the Scoreboard Show. It comes your way each Friday night from 9:30 to 11 and is presented by Colorado Farm Bureau Insurance on the Colorado Preps Radio Network.
Rich is just a really good guy. The term good egg isn't enough to describe him. He's also certified organic and free range. Rich puts the cap back on everything. The toothpaste, the olive oil, the shampoo, everything. He lets his 10-year-old nephew beat him at virtual tennis, even though he can straight up slay his 10-year-old nephew in virtual tennis. When the toilet paper is running low, Rich replaces the roll on the actual holder, not just on the back of the toilet. Rich is texting and driving. Rich, no. What are you doing, Rich? I was just telling everyone how great you are. Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school. At the corner, we waited to cross the street. The stoplight counted down. 15, 14,
31? 13?
We took a left on Carroll Garden Street.
Garden Street?
Loud music was coming from a car. Danny's a smart kid, but he gets so distracted.
There were so many other sounds, I didn't know what to focus on.
Danny, Earth to Danny. Suddenly he realized he forgot his homework again.
I left my homework on the table.
At the school steps, we hugged goodbye. I really hope he doesn't have another bad day at school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free online resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Get personalized recommendations, practical tips, daily access to experts, and more. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I feel like if I didn't have anyone to push me, I wouldn't give a bother to do it. I got one milestone down the drain, and now I got to work on the next. I see the future is really bright for me. I feel like it doesn't matter the age, as long as you go back and get it done. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
No one gets a diploma alone. You have more support than you realize. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In 05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in 09, it was sparks from me, your handy chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early
Colorado Preps. This is the Scoreboard Show.
Coverage of all corners and classes of Colorado with game results and live interviews.
And now your host, Kevin Schaefer.
Back here for hour number 2 of the Scoreboard Show on the Colorado Preps Radio Network. Let's get you caught up on games still in progress. Actually, one just went final in 8-man. Sanford finished off Mancos 36-28. So the Indians move into the Final Four in 8-man with a record of 6-0 with their win today over Mancos. Up in 4A, Dakota Ridge now leads Montrose 24-7 midway through the second quarter there. And in 5A, still at halftime, again, Legend with the lead on top of Fairview 28-27. We'll get to all the scores a couple of times here and set the scene for you next week, but we want to get coaches as quickly as we can through this hour and talk about their win. So let's start there with 1A, Levi Kramer of the Ray Eagles. They were winners today over Hotchkiss by the final score of 38-13. So they're in the state semifinals. And Coach Kramer, thanks for joining us. Excellent win today.
I appreciate you having me.
All right, Coach. Kind of started slow, took a while for both sides to get going, but once you did, you really rolled.
Yeah, they did a good job keeping us. You're getting a short field early in the first quarter. They took advantage of it. Their special teams was really good in the first quarter. But then once things settled down, I was very proud of our boys. They blitz a lot. They bring a lot of pressure, and once our boys settled down, they played physical, and we were able to pop a couple.
All right. Offensively, was it then just a matter of kind of keep doing what you're doing and just fix things a little bit?
Yeah, that's pretty much, we're not too flashy. Everybody kind of knows what we do, and we just have to, do what we do. I was very proud of the boys, just, keep trusting in the coaches, keep trusting in each other, and I think that's what got it done for us.
What makes your quarterback so special, Tyler Collins? I mean, in 6 games in the regular season, almost 2,000 yards of offense.
Well, he's just one of those kids. He loves football. He loves learning about football. And then also, he just does a great job of bringing kids together as well. People like playing around him. He's been our water boy since I think he was 4 years old. And, he knows the system, knows all that stuff. And, his teammates trust him, and he trusts his teammates, and that goes a long way.
Some will tell you he's still carrying your water, Coach. But defensively, I thought your guys up front, the part of the game I watched, your guys up front really stood up well against their pretty good offensive line.
Oh, agreed. Coach Dunn, our defensive coordinator, and, Coach Welp of Lucene and Buck, our defensive guys, did a great job with the game plan, put our kids where they needed to be to make plays. And, again, it gets down to trust. The kids trust where the coaches put them and then execute very, very well.
Okay, it's been a crazy year, especially for you. You've had to reschedule games like every other Thursday, I think, but you're in the state semifinals.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's already, been 7 games because all this stuff going on. But we are truly blessed to still just be able to play football, and we're extremely thankful for that.
Are you concerned a little bit? You'll take on Lyman next week. They're obviously a good program, but last 3 weeks, including today, kind of a slow start for the Eagles. Is that a concern for you going in?
Well, it's always a concern. You always want to start a little bit better, especially if you're going against Coach O'Dwyer or Coach team. They're not going to make many mistakes themselves. So we've got to limit ours. We got to start a little faster and just play 4 quarters of football. But we're getting close. We got a week to prepare for them.
Yep. Now's the time to be playing good football, Coach. Congrats on the big win today. Good luck next week in the Final Four.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Levi Kramer, head coach of the Ray Eagles. Again, this is a good football team. They, again, lost a couple of games late, including a matchup with Lyman in week 5, and they rescheduled Platte Valley for that game. Came up short in that one. Had a tough go for the first half in their Harvest Cup win last week over Yuma. Slow start today. We're down 7-0, but then rolled off 38 in a row. So, again, this is a team that can play with anybody in Class 1A, and they proved it today, winning at 38-13. Again, next up, Lyman, the two-time champs. They knock out Holyoke today, 41-15. We'll try to talk with their coach, Mike O'Dwyer, a little bit later on. Centauri also advanced on the lower side with a very good win today at Florence. 20-17 was that final. And then last night, Strasburg stopped a 2-point conversion in the final minute to hold off Meeker, 36-34. Speaking of Class 1A and Centauri, let's stay in that division. Their head coach, Kyle Forster, joins us on the phone. And coach, a tough physical win today on the road. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you so much, Kevin. It was a very, very physical game. And, I'm just proud of my boys, the way they fought. It's been a long time since we've had a good game. And, congrats to Florence, too. I mean, they were a very good physical team, and they ran the ball hard. And we knew it was coming, and they made us stop it.
And your team, though, responded every time. I think this game traded scores all the way through, and every time they got ahead, you guys responded.
It did. We did a great job. Early, they fumbled the opening kickoff, and we went down and scored, and then they went back down to 10 and scored, and then we got to 13, and then it went 17-13, and then finally we got the last one at 20-17. So it was a fun game to be a part of.
Yeah, talk us through that winning touchdown. I believe it was a touchdown run by Mason Claunch that got you the game-winning points.
It was. We started the drive on about the 30, and, they did a great job of containing our outside runs, and they had a terrific nose guard who we had a hard time blocking all day. And, we were able to hit some RPO passes that we hadn't run all game. And, we slowly, methodically moved the ball down. And then once we got down inside the red zone, we ran an ISO to the right and then ran it back to the left. And Mason was able to bounce it and got a good block from Byron Chockoff on the outside and Baron Holman, and he was able to punch it in.
And your defense took over from there to get the win for you today.
They did. They played lights out. Those two running backs, the Seti kid and the Turner kid, I mean, wow. They kept coming, and we had to tackle them low. And, we put our defense, we pride ourselves in our defense, and they won the game for us on that last stop.
All right, you get the victory. This is the first time I think you've been behind all year. So what did that prove to you? Seriously, what did that prove to your team with their win today?
I'm just so proud of them. It was, being behind late in the game is something that we haven't been in a long time. And to see how they responded, I mean, nobody had their head down. Nobody, went, oh, me, we're going to lose. No, they refocused as a group and went out and executed it and did a great job.
All right, you're in the semifinals for the 4th straight year, so you're no stranger to this round. You're also no stranger to Strasburg. They're a good football team. Great matchup next week.
It is, and we're tired of, being beat by Strasburg, so we're going to come out and we're going to play our hardest and do our best at ending that trend. They've gotten us the last 3 years at home, and, it's time for us to step up and change that.
All right, Coach. Hey, should be a great game next week, so good luck there and beyond, okay?
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, Kyle Forster, the head coach of the Centauri Falcons. Again, we expected that to be a physical team because both teams were very good. Both teams were unbeaten. Neither team had really been pushed in the regular season because of schedule. And again, so it was a great matchup in the state quarterfinals. In 20-17, the final in favor of Centauri. Florence, I think, their last 3 first-round games have been decided by 3 or 4 points, something along that line. So again, it's been tough for them. They won 2 years ago, lost late to Ray. Lost a tough one today, Centauri, but the Huskies still a very good tradition-rich program. So again, your 1A semifinals next week as we work our way through that. We have Lyman at home against Ray, and then Centauri will play host to Strasburg. Lyman beating Holyoke today 41-15. Strasburg again the win last night over Meeker at 36-34. We continue to work our way with coaches around the state. Let's pop up to the 3A division. Durango with a very impressive win today over Lutheran, 47-6. The Demons get it done. David Vogt is their head coach, and that's an eye-opener, Coach. Tremendous win today for your Demons.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm really proud of how the kids played today. They came together as a team, and we were clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, right out of the gate, too. You guys jumped on them early. I think it was 14-0 before you even blinked.
Yes, sir. I mean, especially with them running that fast-paced offense, the plan was to always try to get ahead, have them fight back. So it worked. It worked to our advantage.
And speaking of their offense, it's high-powered. It is quick-paced. What did you do to kind of slow them down?
A lot of disguising, and then just blitzing on critical downs, and then we got the pressure. So that really helped us out.
All right. And then offensively, what'd you like out of your club today, Coach?
Our kids, they just don't go down on the first hit. And so we preach toughness to our running backs and our receivers, and they really took that to heart this week. We broke a lot of tackles, and they had some really long runs. So really, really proud of them for doing that.
All right. And I don't know your full roster, but I'm guessing this was pretty close to the first time you had everybody ready to go this year?
Yes, sir. It was the first time, besides the first game of the season, that we had our full squad, and we came out healthy. So we're expecting to keep rolling.
All right. First semifinal appearance in my notes since 1997. That has to feel good.
Oh, absolutely. It's our goal to get a home playoff game and then go as deep as we can every year. And this is as far as I've gone as a coach at Durango. So it's pretty special.
Yeah, and Holy Family, I'm sure you've probably teased yourself a little bit on film with them, but that's a pretty good football team you'll line up next week.
Oh, everybody's good. They're down to 4 teams. So, it's going to be a great game, and our kids are going to be up for the challenge.
All right, Coach. A tremendous win today over Lutheran. Good luck next week and beyond.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, David Vogt again, the head coach of the Durango Demons. And again, that's a very good football team when healthy and COVID-free, if you will. And they haven't been that case very often this year. They've been without their top quarterback, Jordan Wolverton, for a couple of games. They've been without their backup quarterback, Vince Finney-Smith, for a game as well. They won a couple of weeks ago over Canyon City with the third-string guy at quarterback that hadn't taken a snap since middle school. So again, on all cylinders today as they blow by a very good Lutheran team, 47-6. Let's stay in Class 3A. And again, told you those scores. So let's get on the other side where Roosevelt got a win over Fort Morgan late. That final at 17-16, a field goal with 2 seconds left, pushed the Riders into the state semifinals and kept their perfect season intact. They are 6-0. Fort Morgan closes at 4-2. We'll try to track down Lane Wassinger and talk about that great rally a little bit later on. Roosevelt will host Pueblo South next week. The Colts are in the semifinals by playing 4 games this year. They missed 2 during the regular season to start the year, won their next 4, and then get a boost through the playoffs due to forfeit. Meade could not play this week because of quarantine, and South moves on, so they'll officially be 5-0 in the state quarterfinals and take on Roosevelt at 6-0. And as we said, Holy Family won last night over Evergreen 41-6. They will play host to Durango, a winner over Lutheran today by the count of 47-6. Pop back down to 2A. Everything a final today. Res Christian, the top seed, they bounced Moffat County, 40-14 was that final. Eaton got an impressive road win at Pagosa Springs, 41-7. After the Reds get by Wolf Creek Pass, we'll try to talk with their head coach, Zach Lemon, about that win. So Eaton will host Res Christian next week. Delta got a win at Platte Valley, 38-6 today. Broncos were missing 15-16 kids on their roster, but a good win for Delta with the backup quarterback. And Lamar knocked out Sterling 14-6. We talked with their head coach, Jason Tice, last hour. Lamar will be at Delta next week. 6-man, let's go down there. Fleming defeated Kid Carson today, 58-14. Grenada knocked out Eads, 44-35. Those two teams match up again next week. They played just last week. It was a tremendous 5-point win for Fleming. On the bottom side, Stratton Liberty outscored Briggsdale today, 58-39. They will take on Cheyenne Wells. Tigers got a win over Prairie last night, 43-22. Cheyenne Wells and Stratton Liberty, I believe, scheduled to play in week 5. That was COVIDed out. Now they'll get to match that game up in the state semifinals. Let's bounce back up to Class 4A. Game still ongoing. Montrose trying to get back into this when they trailed Dakota Ridge 34-21 at halftime. That's a high-scoring game. Dakota Ridge with the lead, 34-21. Dakota Ridge, the top seed in the bracket. They will take on number 4 Loveland next week, or the winner, I should say, will take on Loveland. Indians defeated Broomfield last night 28-7 to go to 7-0. Lower side of the bracket, number 2 Palmer Ridge keeps in line for a 4th consecutive title. Last 3 in 3A, they bounce Pine Creek, eliminate the defending champs impressively today, 32-7. Palmer Ridge and an all-Colorado Springs semifinal next week. They will go to Fountain Fort Carson after the Trojans rallied past Ponderosa 41-38. Carson trailed in that game 31-21 at halftime before getting the win in the second half. In the 5A bracket, 3 games were played last night. Cherry Creek over Regis 29-6. Pomona defeated Eagle Crest 49-19, and Valor Christian overwhelmed Cherokee Trail 49-14. Game ongoing now. They started the third quarter just underway, a minute in. Legend leads Fairview 28-21. That winner will go to Valor next week. Cherry Creek will host Pomona in the second semifinal. We'll take a timeout. Several more coaches coming your way on our Scoreboard show on the Colorado Preps Radio Network.
What if your bank let you spend more time enjoying Colorado? With Bank of Colorado's ATM Live, it does. You can make a withdrawal without a debit card, take out exact change, and plenty more. All with the help of a live teller right on the screen. Do almost anything you can do in the bank at Bank of Colorado ATM Live locations statewide. Then get back to doing more of the Colorado things you love. Learn more at bankofcolorado.com/ATM Live. Bank of Colorado. There's only one. Member FDIC.
Gordon Insurance is an independent agency with the customer in mind. We have relationships with dozens of insurance companies, allowing you to get the right price with the right service. And no matter what kind of insurance you need, we will find the right coverage with the best company and at the best price for you. We offer a wide variety of insurance products, including home, auto, business, workers' comp, crop, as well as farm to ranch. And with offices in Lyman, Callahan, Flagler, Sterling, and Kit Carson, we are here to serve the needs of Eastern Colorado. If you would like a quote, call Tim Anderson at 719-740-1361.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In 05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in 09, it was sparks from me, your handy chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't mesh. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Back here on the Scoreboard show on the Colorado Preps Radio Network. Thanks for joining us here. We're with you to 5 o'clock tonight as we recap the first weekend of high school football playoffs around the state. 8 teams starting the weekend. We'll be down to 4 in each of the classifications. Our motto's kind of been no upsets this year because of seeds, and this is a true one here. Roosevelt over Fort Morgan today, 17-16. Riders coach is Lane Wassinger, and they get the win late today to advance. Coach, thanks for joining us, and that one was a nail-biter.
Yeah, my heart rate, still waiting for that to come back down a little bit. So
You guys get a field goal with 2 seconds left, I believe, to get the victory today.
yeah, it was a battle. It was a pretty typical Fort Morgan and Roosevelt football game. We had a lot of kids step up when we needed them to most, and they did, and that includes our kicker and everybody, and that's just part of getting a team win, you know what I mean? So things went wrong, things went right. We found a way at the end, and we had a lot of confidence in our senior kicker, Brecken Sawyer, who just came in big time for us at the end of the game, and we're excited for him. It's a big moment. It's awesome.
Yeah, you get the win 17-16. You led most of the second half, but then the Mustangs scored, I believe, just under 2 minutes left, but you were able to drive the field to set up that game-winning kick.
Yeah, we had our timeouts in our pocket. We knew that we had kind of a little bit of an advantage, with the clock and just kind of with our timeouts and just kind of our offense in general, being able to get into kind of our no-huddle tempo. And kids did a good job. They clocked the ball and spiked the ball when they needed to. And, we had a couple hiccup plays that actually worked out good for us. It's just one of those games, man. Like, people were just going all over the place. And, we had 2 really big catches by our junior wide receiver, Jaden Herrera. Came in just on a low ball at his ankle, caught it and got upfield. And another one that was almost over his head. He was able to bring it back down. Both of those catches got us into first downs. And so we were able to keep that drive alive. And we just knew if we got in the field goal range that we had a kicker that we trusted that give him that shot to send the semifinal.
Even when the Mustangs scored there late, they missed the extra point. Did that give you a little spark at that point and maybe rally the troops, if you will?
Yeah, we blocked it. One of our junior linebacker, Clayton Robinson, we told him too, like, this is huge. You got to block. I mean, if we get a block here, field goal doesn't only tie it, now it wins it for us. And so it's kind of how it all worked out. That's one part of the game that kind of did work out with a perfect picture, I guess you could say. And so, it gave us a huge amount of momentum. And then they ended up kicking the kickoff out of bounds. So we started with the ball at 35, and we just knew got to get in field goal range at least. And so, we were able to get down there and manage the clock well and give us some time at the end there to put one through the pipe.
All right, you get the victory today. You stay unbeaten. Your second 1-point win this year. You also beat Meade in overtime. Now next up, Pueblo South. Don't have to tell you, they're a great program. That should be a fine contest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ryan Goddard does an excellent job down there at Pueblo South. And, they got one of the best running backs in the state in George Longoria. So, they'll spread you out too. And they've got athletes all over the place. And, we're excited to host that game up here in Johnstown and, give our kids one last game on their game field regardless. And, we'll have to come to work Monday. That 1-point game, though, like you said, was good for us. I told the kids that, look, we needed that. We needed to get hit in the mouth a little bit. We needed to get back to kind of like a knockdown, drag out type of football game, because that's going to help you when you face teams like Pueblo South and Holy Family and Durango and teams that are still in this thing. So it was good for us. And, whether you win by 1 or 100, when it's in the playoffs, they don't come easy, and you got to enjoy these things. So that hopefully that's going to be a good memory that'll live with these kids for a lifetime. It was a fun day for sure.
All right, Coach. Tremendous win. Never give up mentality. Full 48 minutes. Congrats on that. Good luck next week.
Thank you so much.
All right, Lane Wassinger, the head coach of the Roosevelt Rough Riders. As he said, they'll take on Pueblo South. Colts again got that forfeit win over Meade this week. Other side of the bracket, number 2 Holy Family beat Evergreen last night 41-6. Durango, the 3rd seed, they slammed Lutheran today 47-6. So they match up in Broomfield next week on Holy Family's home field. Let's drop back into the 1A ranks. Want to talk with Mike O'Dwyer, the 2-time defending state champions. Lyman Badgers, they knock out Holyoke today 41-15. And Coach, good win, first time on the field in 3 weeks, so a good win for the Badgers.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that whole team's still a good football team, and coming off of 2 weeks off, I was a little worried about our kids, but our kids kind of responded. It took a little bit of time, but we kind of got things rolling as the game went on.
And did your running game kind of wear them down in the second half? I know you're up 11 going into the 4th, and you win by 26.
Yeah, I just thought that, we had to make a few adjustments. We got a few kids banged up, and so we had to move some kids around. And, when you do that, it seems like it takes a while to get things in sync. And I don't know if we were in sync at all day, but, we were just kind of fortunate to come out on top.
Defensively, what'd you do? I know you gave up the early score, but then only one other touchdown the rest of the game.
Yeah, they did a nice job with, giving us a formation we hadn't seen. And, we just missed the kid out of the backfield. He just went right down the middle of the field, and nobody went with him, and they scored on that. And it was just a formation that we hadn't seen. So, hats off to them. They did a good job of adjusting. And then, the other one, again, kind of a broken play, and quarterback did a good job for them. And they threw a deep ball on us. And we just got to be better in that facet about knowing where to go. And so, their scores, just a good job by them.
You're in the state semifinals, and we'll talk about your opponent next week in a minute here. But what's this like this year been like for you? I know you've coached quite a while. You've probably felt you saw everything until this year. It's been a challenge, hasn't it?
It's been a big challenge. And, the thing that's probably the toughest for any high school kid or any high school team is, just the ups and downs and not knowing, week to week what's going to happen. And, it's almost like they're waiting for the hammer to drop every time they step out on the athletic field as far as what's going to happen. So, it's been tough to keep our kids focused on what they got to do because they're just worried about, what can go wrong next. And so that's probably the hardest thing that you have to deal with is their mental aspect.
And one consistency, though, you'll see Ray in the playoffs. I know you guys have had some great regular season battles, and they're next up for you in the semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I didn't want to have to run back through the North Central, but, we didn't get to play Ray or Holyoke during the regular season. And it's always tough going against Ray. They're just extremely well coached, and, they got some great players in the Collins kid at quarterback, and the Schoenthal kid out there, and the Rambler kid. They just got great talent, and plus they're very well coached. So, we're going to have our hands full.
All right, Coach. Hey, congrats on the win today. Stay healthy the rest of the way, and good luck next week against the Eagles.
All right, Kevin. Thank you so much.
All right, Michael Dwyer, the head coach of the Lyman Badgers. Let's quickly move to Class 2A and the Eaton Reds. Their head coach is Zach Lemon, venturing over Wolf Creek Pass, I understand. But, Coach, congrats on the big and impressive win today down at Pagosa. And we may have lost him over Wolf Creek Pass, so we'll try to hook back up with Zach Lemon here in just a few moments, or try to line up another coach as well. We knew catching him might be difficult because of the roads they are traveling there to get out of Pagosa. You have to go over Wolf Creek. And again, they're coming off a big win today in Class 2A. That final was 41-7, the 5th-seeded Reds over the 4th-seeded Pirates. So Eaton will be at home next week, and they will take on Res Christian. Res with the win over Moffat County today, 40-14. Other side of the bracket, Lamar and Delta each pick up road wins. Lamar won at Sterling 14-6. Delta over Platte Valley, that final at 38-6. So Lamar will be venturing out west to Delta next week in one state semifinal. 6-man. Let's just go from the bottom to the top as far as numbers. Fleming defeated Kid Carson 58-14 today. Grenada over Eads 44-35. Stratton Liberty also with the win over Briggsdale today 58-39. And last night Cheyenne Wells beat number 6 Prairie 43-22. So Cheyenne Wells should go to Stratton Liberty next week, and Grenada will revisit Fleming, where they played just last week in the state semifinals. 8-man. Sedgwick County rolled Crowley County 45-12. It was number 4 Dove Creek knocking out 5th-seeded Rangeley 30-12. Number 2 Sanford, good tight win over Mancos today 36-28. And Marino, the only lower seed, if you will, to get the win over Fowler, that final at 22-6. So Marino will host Sanford, and Sedgwick County, I believe, will host Dove Creek coming up next week. Let's stay in this division and talk 8-man football with Shane Boffman. He's the head coach of Dove Creek, and we just told you they got the win over Rangeley 30-12. And Coach, that's an impressive victory for you. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right. What'd your team do well today? What'd you like out of them?
Really swarmed to the ball. Our speed was kind of the difference today. Had a couple big plays on offense early, and then they just rallied late and kind of wore Rangeley out. So, I don't know, speed kills an 8-man, and that seemed to be the difference today.
And was that the difference on defense for you as well, being able to get to the play quicker?
Yeah. Our kids were just swarming today. They have some great big kids on their team, and they're very well coached. But our kids just swarmed to the ball, and that was kind of the difference today. So,
Okay, were you worried going into this one because you didn't get your game? I believe last week you were off, and so it's been a couple of weeks since you lined up. Were you concerned about that at all?
we were. We knew just the physicality of Rangeley, and they're a very physical ball club, and big kids, and we just were worried, but not being able to hit all the time and catching up with that speed as well that they've got. When you're playing your JVs, it's not quite the same caliber, and so the speed seems to surprise us sometimes in the first quarter, and it kind of was flip-flop today. I think it kind of surprised them. So.
All right. How excited was your kids and community? Because you guys have had some success in the playoffs over the years, obviously, but it's been a while since you've been this deep. So how did that feel?
Very, very good. I think 29 years is the last time that this ball club was in the semifinals. So community's excited, kids are excited. And, it was a great win for us today.
All right. Next week, you go about as far as you can go on a bus and still be in the same state to play a playoff game against Sedgwick County. That's going to be a chore.
I've heard that Dove Creek to Julesburg is the farthest trip any school can make in the state of Colorado.
I believe it.
So I think that's the farthest trip that any school can make. So I think it'll be, we're used to traveling. We'll take a couple days and, probably do a 2-night deal, but we'll get there and play the game. So.
All right, Coach. A tremendous win today. Good luck next week against the 5-time champs and beyond. Okay.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Shane Bauman again, the head coach of Dove Creek with the win today. Impressively over Rangeley. They give the Panthers their first loss of the year, 30-12. Dove Creek's only loss this year is to Sanford, and they do have a win over Manco, so they played a tough schedule, and now they're into the Final Four. Take on Sedgwick County. Other side of the bracket, Sanford and Marino. 1A state semis are set. Lyman will play host to Ray, and Centauri will be at home against Strasburg. We told you about 2A, 3A. Roosevelt will be at home against Pueblo South, and Holy Family will entertain Durango. In the 4A bracket, Palmer Ridge will go to Fountain Fort Carson in one semifinal. Loveland has advanced, and they await the winner between Dakota Ridge and Montrose. That's still at the half. Dakota Ridge on top, 34-21. In 5A, we have Cherry Creek hosting Pomona next week, and Valor Christian will be at home. They will play either Legend or Fairview. That game 4 minutes to go in the third. Legend on top, 42-28. So that gets you caught up on the scoreboard and the scene for next week. We'll take a time out. When we return, we'll talk to some more coaches on the Scoreboard show on the Colorado Preps Radio Network.
Never before have either of them felt this sort of pressure, this level of the unknown. I'm Glenn Davis, and I'm part of the Alpine Bank family, member FDIC. I'm speaking of our school children and the teachers who guide them. For our young people, this school year is completely different. COVID has changed everything, from where they learn to how. But thanks to our devoted and tireless teachers, our kids are in the best of hands. Teachers care about their happiness, their enthusiasm, and their love for life, be it from the front of a classroom or looking out from the screen of a computer. Yes, we're all in the midst of a new world. But Alpine Bank knows one thing remains constant. We are blessed to have teachers. They care, and that will get us through.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores you've ever had. In '01, we stayed up all night telling ghost stories with the neighbors. Yeah, I know I've got a bit of wear and tear. And sadly, in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire. When a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Sparks from an improperly extinguished fire pit can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. I came out in the 11th grade, Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. The hard part was determining that I was going to do it, but I definitely didn't do it alone.
At age 30, with the help of her mentor, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
I have a mentor, Maria. She convinced me to continue my education and to finish what I started to get my diploma. Just never judges. She's a true role model. If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back here on our Scoreboard show on the Colorado Preps Radio Network. I'm your host, Kevin Schaefer. Let's continue our coaches' interviews, joined by Traegan Marquez, the head coach of the Grenada Bobcats. They get a nice victory over Eads today. That final at 44-35 in the six-man ranks. And Coach, a tough one, but congrats on your win today.
Hey, thank you very much.
Yeah, this was a tight one kind of all the way through, and until you kind of gained a little bit of an edge in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, Eats came out and gave us everything they had, and our boys had to. It took a whole team to get today's win.
All right, what'd you like out of your team today? Let's start on the offensive side. Some things you liked from them today.
No, I think we do a lot of good things on the offensive side, and everybody has a hand in that. It starts up front with our center and our young ends. We were out our leading receiver, so we had to ask a freshman to step in, and he played really well for us. And then, of course, we got John Hayner, who runs the ball super hard, and then Dominic, our quarterback. He just gives us a lot of options to do, really whatever we like to. So offensively, we were pretty happy. We stalled there for a little bit, but we got it going in the second half.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say next. Is it looks like the third quarter is where you kind of opened it up a little bit and got some success offensively today.
Yeah, every coach wishes they could get out fast and go early and put points up on the board, but it took us until that second half, and really it was hard running. Our guys on the holes. John Hayner found a few good runs, and when he really has success, it opens up. He takes so much attention. It opens up a lot of other players to either catch the ball or run the ball. So that was nice to have in the second half. And
then defensively, I know Eads has got a couple of guys that can score from anywhere on the field. So how did you kind of contain their offense a little bit today?
I had to tip my hat to their coach, Damian Barnes. I think he's the league's leading rusher. He was out still with the injury, but he's able to. I guess he wasn't out. He was able to play a little bit, but they put him at a quarterback position where he didn't have to do too much running, and they showed us something that we weren't really expecting or haven't seen on film. So defensively, our guys, when they did their jobs and played their roles, we did really well. But they gave us something to look at, and hats off to our kids for just making stops when we needed to.
Next week in the state semifinals against Fleming, you're obviously familiar, just played them last week and came up short by 5 points, and maybe the best six-man game we've seen this year. So you get another crack at the Wildcats.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. We like the matchup. Like you said, we just played them 2 weeks ago, and if the ball bounces a different way a few different times, I think there's a different outcome. But we're excited to be able to play them again. I think it's going to be another good one. They do a lot of things right up north as far as football goes, and it's a tough place to play over there. But I think our boys are ready to kind of answer that call.
All right, Coach. Hey, congrats on the win today. Good luck next week.
Appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
All right, Traegan Marquez, the head coach of the Grenada Bobcats, into the state semifinals in six-man. Again, they go to Fleming. Stratton Liberty will host Cheyenne Wells next week. That's the top four seeds moving through the bracket. Let's go to the eight-man ranks. One of the better games there today. Number 2, Sanford defeated number 7, Mancos, 36-28. Sanford is led by Joe Carey, their head coach. He's on the phone with us. And Coach, this was a tough one, but you guys got out of there with a victory today.
Yeah, it was really tough. Mancos came, and we knew they would play as tough as they do usually. They're a great team. It was pretty ugly. There was a lot of turnovers on both sides. I don't know if it was because of the quarantine, but a lot of things we can fix.
Yeah, I was going to say, did that affect you a little bit? I mean, you guys were rolling, and then you had to sit out your final game. Couldn't play Mancos to close out the regular year, but you got it today. Was that a factor today, being shut down for a while?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit. I think we were a little bit rusty and everything. I thought we had a great week of practice, but there was just some things that we did in this game that we usually don't do, and I don't know who to credit that or what to credit that to, but definitely wasn't exactly how we usually play ball.
Yeah, but you did enough to win, right?
Yeah, I mean, a W is a W. We're happy about it.
All right. Defensively, again, what did your guys do well there today?
I think they pursued the ball really well. They tackled really well. I mean, Mancos has an exceptional running back, and they have a really good line. And I thought we did enough to get the win. I know we're going to have a team next week that's also big and tough and physical, and they have good backs, and so it was good for us to have that challenge going in.
All right. Offensively, most of the year, I know you've relied on Gartrell quite a bit. Was that the case again today?
Yeah, it was. We started with the tight formation, and it worked somewhat, and then we spread him out and gave him the ball and just let him do his thing, and he found the openings and did a great job.
All right. You mentioned your opponent next week is tough and big and physical, and they also got a lot of tradition. That's the Merino Rams, and you'll have to go to their place, so that's a tough assignment next week.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's exciting, but yet, I mean, it's gonna take all that we have. I know it is, but I mean, we're excited about the chance to do it and the opportunity, and we're going to go and we're going to give everything we have and then try and go get a W over there.
All right, Coach, a tremendous win today. Good luck next week against the Rams.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it, Kevin.
All right, Joe Carey, head coach of the Sanford Indians. Again, they were supposed to play Mancos to close the regular season last week. That game was called out because of COVID in the Sanford camp, but they play it today, and the Indians hold on for a 36-28 win. Going to try to go back to Eaton football and talk with their head coach, Zach Lemon. He was over Wolf Creek Pass, probably stopped off to go skiing, Coach, but you're with us now. Congrats on a huge win.
Hi. Thank you very much. And it was tempting to stop and ski at Wolf Creek, looking good.
Yeah, I bet it is. I've heard there's a lot of powder there, but hey, what an impressive win today. No bus legs coming off that long trip. You guys were out of the gate and humming today.
Yeah. You know, it was great to be back in full force. All of our guys were excited and motivated. Last couple of years, the first round hasn't been good to us. So we made sure we had our focus. We just took it to the next level, and our leaders, our seniors, our experienced guys took the challenge and did a great job today. Couldn't be more proud of them.
What worked for you to get out to that quick start? I mean, you were up 35-0 at half. So what worked for you in that first half?
Our defense was just playing incredible. We were able to get pressure. We were able to plug holes, and then offensively they did a great job. You know, their defense held pretty good, but we were able to get a couple of long plays that got us closer down there. But really, it was just doing what we do and being patient, and then getting some big plays when they get the chance.
And then defensively, every coach, again, we've talked to this year have told us Pagosa Springs has a good group up front. You got to be physical with them, and you must have done that today.
You know, we did. We were real physical, and I'll be honest, they were down some kids. They had a pretty small sideline, and I really tip my cap to Pagosa and what they did today, and the way their kids fought and battled. But they still had a lot of their studs. They still had a lot of our horses out there, and we were able to do what we had to do against their great offense.
Okay, how good did this win feel? Like you said, you've struggled the last couple of years in the opening game, but here you're dominating in your win, so that had to feel good.
Oh yeah, we can't get enough of it on the bus right now. Just taking deep breaths and realizing that we needed that one to get that monkey off our back, and now we just got to keep moving forward.
And moving forward means Res Christian. You guys, not this year, but in the past, have been in the same league, so you're obviously very familiar with the Cougars.
Yeah, we are very familiar, and we are excited about the opportunity to play them. You know, we were pleased with our move to the Patriot East this year, but we did miss the opportunity to play Resurrection Christian, and we're excited that it's a semifinal matchup now.
All right, Coach. Hey, safe travels back, and good luck next week and beyond, okay?
Great. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, Zach Lemon, the head coach of the Eaton Reds. We break the jinx with him in our interview there because he had been about 0 for his last 5 with us lining up an interview. So they get the win today, 41-7 winners over Pagosa. Again, they go to Res. Lamar will be on the road to Delta next week in the other 2A state semifinal. Take a time out, our final break of the afternoon. We'll have one more segment. We'll get through all the scores. May have time for another coach's interview. We'll do that for you next year on the Scoreboard Show on the Colorado Preps Radio Network.
Gordon Insurance is an independent agency with the customer in mind. We have relationships with dozens of insurance companies, allowing you to get the right price with the right service. And no matter what kind of insurance you need, we will find the right coverage with the best company and at the best price for you. We offer a wide variety of insurance products, including home, auto, business, workers' comp, crop, as well as farm to ranch. And with offices in Lyman, Callahan, Flagler, Sterling, and Kit Carson, we are here to serve the needs of Eastern Colorado. If you would like a quote, call Tim Anderson at 719-740-1361.
Just how sweet are the guys at Buildings by Design? They are one of Chief Building's top dealers. Now, some of you might ask, what exactly does that mean? Well, Chief is in the top 3 in metal building manufacturers in the United States, and with the stamp of approval from Buildings by Design, they are the highest quality. Buildings by Design is the largest northeastern Colorado and northern Colorado general contractor, but they still offer that same local customer service approach that helped get them where they are. Quality, integrity, and trust. It's Buildings by Design.
Peekaboo. Peekaboo. Smile.
Smile, buddy.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy. You know how boys are.
Or maybe he's teething. Oh, poor baby. I think his gums hurt.
Maybe he's just tired.
Or maybe his tummy hurts. He didn't eat that much.
Maybe he's not ticklish.
You think maybe he's scared of the dog?
Maybe he'll outgrow it. Maybe it's a phase. Maybe he just doesn't like smiling.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs or see a doctor today for an autism screening. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better. And it can make a lifetime of difference. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Everybody buckle up. Buckle up. Buckle up. Buckle up. Everybody buckle up. Buckle up. Buckle up. Everybody buckle up.
Let's go.
Buckle up.
Can we go to the store? Can we get some ice cream?
Buckle up. Everybody buckle up.
Everybody buckle up.
A lot goes on in the car, but remember, you're in control. Stand firm. Only move when you hear the click that says they're buckled in. Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Back here on the Scoreboard Show on the Colorado Preps Radio Network. Thanks for joining us here on a special playoff edition of the Scoreboard Show. We're back with you next Saturday from 3:30 to 5 as well as we put the wraps on the state semifinal weekend and get you set for the championship weekend. Again, all 7 titles being crowned at CSU Pueblo starting on Thursday with the 6 and 8 man divisions. And then I believe we have 1A or 2A and 4A on Friday, and then 1, 3, and 5 coming up on a Saturday. Let's get you caught up on a couple of scores here. In 5A, there you have 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Legend leading Fairview 49-28. And also in 4A, 48-21 your score. Dakota Ridge leading Montrose 5 minutes to go in the third quarter there. So those are our two games still in progress. You can track them on our website at coloradopreps.com. Tried to run down Marino head coach Nathan Schmidt. They're in a dead zone in between Ordway and Lyman, obviously, and also Ben Johnson, their big win of Delta over Platte Valley, unable to track him down as well. So we're going to go back to last night and talk with Brian Brown. He's the head coach of the Strasburg Indians. They get a big victory over Meeker last night, 36-34, to reach the state semifinals.
Going into this football game, we knew we were facing a very good football team, and we've been talking a lot, and I think a lot of people have been talking about the schedule, our schedule leading up to the playoffs, and so we knew this was going to be a tough one. But tell you what, it was a really good football game to coach. I know that.
Yeah, and to your point about schedule, your kids really hadn't been pushed all year, and I know it wasn't your fault to schedule, but out of the gate you trailed in this one. The kids weren't in that position all year, but you had to like how they responded.
Oh, absolutely. And we had kind of talked about that all week long, and we talked to the kids about how they were going to react to some adversity, and we'd gone the entire game, the entire season, we'd gone, holding teams to not scoring against us, and we knew that wasn't going to be the case against Meeker. They had such a diverse offense and such good football players. We knew that was probably not going to happen, and we really challenged the kids all week long to understand who they were and the process that got them there, and to face the adversity head on. And boy, I tell you what, our boys did it.
Yeah, they did a
great job.
Yeah, they did. It was a good game to watch. Offensively, I know you got some big plays in the pass game, but overall, I thought you ran it extremely well, and it was from a lot of guys. You got a lot of folks involved on offense last night.
Well, we really did, and I attribute that to our kids, that they just understand where we're trying to go with our offense. And I thought Talon Hall just did an excellent job running up the middle. Meeker, they understood what we tried to do on the big plays on the outside. So, they tried to take that away from us. So, we had to take what they were giving us, and that was a lot of things up the middle. And I'll tell you what, our offensive line and our running back really did a good job going up the middle last night.
That's Brian Brown, head coach of the Strasburg Indians. Again, 36-34 win over Meeker. They held out a 2-point conversion with about 40 seconds to go in that game, and then withstood an onside kick that was recovered by the Cowboys to get the victory. Strasburg, with the win next week, will be in the finals for a 5th consecutive year. Let's get you caught up on the weekend in 6-man state quarterfinals. Everything from top to bottom in the bracket. Fleming over Kit Carson 58-14. Grenada over Eads 44-35. Stratton Liberty over Briggsdale 58-39. Cheyenne Wells Top Prairie 43-22. Next week, Cheyenne Wells at Stratton Liberty, Grenada at Fleming. In 8-man Sedgwick County, they roll Crowley County 45-12. Cougars have won 21 straight in the playoffs. Dove Creek a win over Rangeley 30-12. Sanford edge Mancos 36-28. Marino upended Fowler 22-6. Rams host Sanford next week. Dove Creek, that long trip as we talked, at Sedgwick County next week in the semifinals. In 1A, Lyman defeated Holyoke today 41-15. Ray over Hotchkiss 38-13. Strasburg edge Meeker 36-34. And Centauri a road win at Florence 20-17. Falcons will be at home against Strasburg next week. Lyman will entertain Ray. In the 2A bracket, we have Res Christian defeating Moffett County today, 40-14. Eaton pounded Pagosa Springs 41-7. It was Lamar stunning Sterling, the defending champs, 14-6, and Delta dumped Platte Valley 38-6. So next week, Eaton will be at home against Res Christian, and Delta won the coin flip with Lamar, so they will host the Savages in the semifinals next week. In Class 3A, Roosevelt with a field goal with 2 seconds left edges Fort Morgan 17-16. Roosevelt will entertain Pueblo South next week. Colts pick up a forfeit win over Meade this week. Holy Family downed Evergreen 41-6, and Durango slammed Lutheran 47-6. Durango on the road to Holy Family next week. 4A action, we have Dakota Ridge still leading Montrose 48-21. Again, late in the third quarter there. If the Eagles hold on, they will host Loveland next week. Loveland beat Broomfield 28-7. Also, Palmer Ridge, they won the Battle of State Champs today over Pine Creek 32-7. Bears move into the semifinals. They will be at Fountain Fort Carson next week. Trojans defeated Ponderosa by the final of 41-38. Class 5A bracket, 3 of the 4 games were played before the day got started. Cherry Cherry Creek beat Regis 29-6. Pomona over Eagle Crest 49-19. Both those games last night. Valor Christian back on Thursday down Cherokee Trail 49-14 was that final, and one game still in progress. That's Legend and Fairview, a battle of unbeatens. Both teams at 6-0, and 5 minutes to go in that one. And Legend very close to their first ever Final Four bid in any classification. They lead Fairview 49-28. Again, 5 minutes to go. Titans won their first ever playoff game last year into the semifinals. If they hold on to that 3-score lead late, they will go to Valor Christian next week. Pomona will be on the road to Cherry Creek. All the information, of course, available on our website at coloradopreps.com. We have the best scoreboard in the state as we update all the scores from across Colorado. All the interviews that you heard today will be posted in their entirety on our website. We'll also get the full comments from Strasburg head coach Brian Brown and Jake Novotny, the head coach of Fountain Fort Carson, as well. Thanks for joining us on this playoff Saturday. I'm Kevin Schaefer. This is the Scoreboard Show, and this is the Colorado Preps Radio Network.